All right, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Tab Overload. I am so excited to finally get started on my second episode. I know it's been a minute and consistency will come. I've just had the biggest struggle trying to get everything situated in regards to the podcast. The studio that I was in is not studioing like I needed to. And so I had to get a mic. I had to get a setup in my own home, which honestly I prefer because now I get to be at home. I get to lounge and I get to stay with my dog, which is the best part. But I want to dive into the second episode, and I really want these to kind of be chill, I'm just gossiping with friends, because that's kind of how I do this all the time. And so I'm launching a new series underneath the Tab Overload umbrella, and this is going to be called Hot Tabs. And Hot Tabs is essentially going to be, where I talk my shit about gossip that's going on within the reality TV world through the week. So this is going to be a weekly series. Reality TV culture is one of the most fascinating genres we do have today. And I feel like it pulls us into worlds and dynamics that we rarely experience in our daily life. And we see the good, we see the bad, and of course, the hilarious moments. And along the way, we form these opinions where we love these people, we hate them, and we judge them all in the same breath most of the time. And so my series Hot Tabs under the Tab Overload umbrella is where I'm going to share my unfiltered takes on what's going on, the latest headlines, unforgettable moments of reality TV, and reality TV stars that we really can't stop talking about. So this week I have a lot of things I kind of want to get into, and I just want to dive in. And I want to start off with the biggest news, in my opinion, this week that happened is Karen Huger from the Real Housewives of Potomac was released from prison. I don't think it was prison. I think it was just jail. But Karen has been released, and honestly, I am so happy for her. I'm really happy for her. I'm happy for her family. Word on the street is that when she got out, Bravo cameras were present. So she is filming, which I'm actually pretty shocked about. I didn't think she would film just because I saw how much she was deflecting on the last season about even talking about her DUI. So I thought she would honestly have shame and hide, but it makes me really happy knowing that she is gonna, confront the world on what happened and hopefully take accountability and kind of just come back into society. The accountability is so necessary, because I think that that's why a lot of people are, even till this day, I've seen hate comments she's gotten 5 DUIs and she didn't serve the full time. She was sentenced 2 years, and I think she only served 6 months, which she did do her time, in my opinion. And I was pretty concerned for her when she went in. She's this fragile older woman. I don't want to call her old, because Karen is she looks good. She moves well. She reads the girls down. I don't want to make it seem like she's a senior, but she's an older woman. And so the idea of going to jail, even for me, anyone, it's scary. Imagining Karen just sleeping on a cot, I'm just happy she's out. I'm sure her husband Ray and her daughter Raven is extremely happy. But I'm going to need her to come back, take accountability, and check the girls. I'm very, very happy that she's going to be on this season. Apparently they are still filming. I heard that. I don't know if it's true. The trailer came out, so I think it'll be a situation kind of like Vanderpump, where something happens and they pick up the cameras and then add it to the season at the end. So she won't be very involved with the women on this season, but she seems like she's gonna have some type of moment in the show, and I'm sure they'll address it in the reunion. Like I said, I'm just very happy for her. I think that the Real Housewives of Potomac does need her. I actually enjoyed Giselle Bryant on the Real Housewives of Potomac is a great person to be able to continue carrying the show while Karen is not there. So I think that we'll be in a good place, but I'm interested to just see like how it all develops, and I will continue talking about it as it does develop. And which leads me to my next topic. I want to talk through Summer House. Summer House wrapped last weekend because last weekend was Labor Day weekend, and that's usually, you know, like when the end of summer occurs for like us in the States. And so one piece of news I saw from the finale being filmed is Carl Radke's bar opened. And last year when Carl's, like, he announced that he was opening a bar, a sober bar, everyone was like, what? That's the dumbest idea ever. And I must admit, the bar looks pretty dope. Like, I'm not eating my words just yet because in my true opinion, I think that opening a sober bar is extremely stupid. I think that if it were a successful business opportunity, I don't think Carl is going to be the one to break through that. I just don't. And so if people want to go out but they don't want to drink, why wouldn't you just go to a restaurant, like go to a Chili's, sit up and like order a high C? I don't know. I just wouldn't think like, oh, I want to go to this bar, but I'm not going to get anything. First of all, most bars offer mocktails. I understand if you're in the environment where you don't want alcohol around, then go to a McDonald's. You know, like it just doesn't make sense to me. But the bar looks amazing. I'll give Carl his credit because it looks fantastic. I'm going to New York next month, and I really do hope to be able to stop by and then share with you all what I think about it in person. I personally am nervous about the stability of the bar because Carl is old. I love how I'm like, for Karen, I'm not going to call her old. But then Carl, who's like 15 years younger than Karen, I'm like, he's old. But like, he's old in the sense of like, you are too old for Summer House. Karen's not too old for the Real Housewives of Potomac. Carl is too old for Summer House. Summer House started when these people were in their 20s and early 30s and, you know, went to the Hamptons every weekend in the summer with their friends and partied. Lindsay just had a baby. Kyle is like 48. Him and Amanda are married, like eventually settling down with kids is my assumption. And Carl is just like opening a bar. I love Carl's dedication to the sober community and how he wants to bring something to the sober community. I just don't like the name sober bar. I think it sounds dumb. When I saw the video of like the space and like him doing like a promotion essentially for it, because I think it is open, he mentioned it's also like a venue where you can host events, like specifically like it's giving influencer events, let's be real. And they do sell food too. So it's giving a coffee shop, to be honest. Like, I just don't like the name Sober Bar. I think it sounds stupid. I think it's a coffee shop, an elevated coffee shop. And we already have a lot of those. And if you're going to lean into it and not call it a coffee shop, I don't know. It's really hard. But I am very surprised he got it open because it looked like it wasn't going to make it for a while. So I'm really happy that it's open. I can go, I can judge it, and I have something to talk shit about. So thank you, Carl, for that. Lindsay from not Real Housewives, Lindsay from Summer House is getting her own spinoff because she had a baby last year, and obviously she's not going to be going to the Summer House every weekend and getting shit-faced now. And if she did, that'd be okay. Not to mom shame, because I really do like Lindsay, but like that's just not reality for good parents. So she's getting a spinoff, and I'm interested to know if Kyle and Amanda will join that spinoff and how Carl will fit into that. Because Carl and Lindsay, if you watch Summer House, you know They were engaged. They had a very messy breakup. And not even a year after they broke off their engagement, Lindsay was pregnant and now has this beautiful baby. And so Lindsay doesn't mess with Carl, rightfully so. He sucks. But I just don't see him having a stable spot in Summer House because they are bringing in new people. It feels like they're transitioning to like something newer, kind of like Vanderpump Rules is taking that same route. And if he doesn't have the show to promote his bar, which I'm sure he's heavily leaning on, what's the fate of the bar? We'll figure it out, I guess, one day. So, that's like my opinions on like the latest Summer House info. I'm interested in like seeing the new cast and how the show will evolve without Paige on this season. I think Paige brought a lot of fans to Summer House, and I think she'll take a lot of them away. So it'll be interesting to see, the whole dynamic. Moving on down the line, because I got some things to get through. The Real Housewives of Orange County is in its 19th season, and it is really good. A lot of people are complaining about this season because they're saying there are a lot of bloggers and drama around bloggers. They are not freaking bloggers, and I really wish the Housewives would stop calling TikTokers and like Instagram people bloggers. Bring real blogging back. I'm going to start my own website and bring old-fashioned housewives will write a blog post shitting on another housewife back. That's blogging. Posting a TikTok sharing a headline, which I do, I'm not a blogger. Like, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm a blogger. I don't know what it's necessarily called, but blogging to me is like writing. And I know that it can evolve, but especially in the way that these girls are talking about it, I just don't think that that's blogging. But I want to talk Oakley. Do you have something to say? He has nothing to say. He just wants to be up under my skin. So I want to talk about something outside of the season is that I saw yesterday Tamra and Vicky are speaking again. If you are not familiar with the Real Housewives of Orange County, Vicky was the first original housewife on the Orange County, and Orange County is the first ever Real Housewives franchise. So she's literally the OG housewife. And she's not on the show anymore because she got fired and she kind of sucks. But Tamra and Vicky were like, Tamra came on season, was it 2 or 3? She's basically like an OG. And they've obviously been friends about 20 years. And they aren't friends now because, I don't know, Housewives is messy girl. But they're talking again. And that's pretty like not shocking because I feel like on specifically Orange County, it's always like, oh, we're fighting, but then we make up at the reunion. We're good at the beginning of the next season, and then we fight again. It's like a cycle, and it's the same thing if we include Shannon Beador in that too. And I think that this season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, like many other franchises, are built on alliances. And you can see the alliance in the current season cracking, specifically Gretchen, Katie, Jen. I almost forgot Jen's name. Oakley, I'm filming. Can you like not squeak your toy right now? But my prediction is that Tamra and Katie are going to team up together because Katie doesn't have anyone on her side now because their alliance broke. And everyone kind of like is mad at Tamra all the time. So I think that Katie and Tamra are going to team up together. And I think that Tamra wants Vicky back on the show because Vicky and Tamra are very good friends. They've always been like kind of like rock solid in terms of like on the show. I feel like if you have a really good friendship off of the show, when you're on the show, you kind of protect each other. And Tamra does not have that. And no one's willing to ride for her like Vicky would. And she misses that on the show, which is very much fair. So I think that Tamra is kind of scheming to get Vicky back on the show. And I do think Bravo will let her come in like on cameos or whatever because she, you know, was the first housewife. So there's always that respect right there. I think Katie wants to stay on the show, so she's gonna befriend them, and she should. I hope Vicky does come back, because I do see that as like a really good opportunity to get Gina and Emily out. I don't like Emily. I don't like Gina. I don't know how they've gotten this far. There have been housewives who have been only a 1-season housewife and have deserved more seasons. How have Gina and Emily seriously gotten this far? Oakley, I'm really going to need you to stop. I'm hiding his toy. But like, seriously, how have they gotten this far? They've had, like, I think Gina had kind of a good storyline at one point when her husband randomly left her, but he also didn't show his face on camera. So it was like, you can only care so much. Emily, I can't think of a storyline that I'm interested or have been interested by her. I think that Emily is very insecure, and I think she wants to fit in with the cool girls, and you can see that very clearly on the show. I don't fuck with Emily. I don't like her. I think she and both Gina have had funny moments, but I just don't like them on the show. I feel like Emily is a mean girl because she's always wanted to fit in with the cool mean girls, and now she kind of is, and she got on her Ozempic, and she's skinny now, allegedly Ozempic. I don't want to, but it's just like, it's so clear. And you know what? I've seen the headlines about people saying Katie is like being attacked because the cast is giving racist. And you know what? I hate throwing out so quickly that people are racist, because I feel like that is a very dangerous term, and we want to take it serious. Like, if we're saying that about someone, it needs to be accurate, and we need to come with the facts. If anyone on the cast is racist, I don't know. I do see a lot of blind ignorance on the show. And what I'll say about that is, in the last episode, they were at Emily's house. There are, 8 girls on this cast? Katie being the only minority on the cast. At the end of the episode, everyone is screaming at Katie. Imagine being the only minority in a group, and all these other girls who are so-called your friends, all these other blonde white women besides Heather Dubrow, my queen, ganging up on you, essentially. And they don't like Katie. Understood. She's done some stuff to piss them off. I understand that. But we have to take a step back and see how messed up that looks. A bunch of blonde white women screaming and yelling at the only minority in the room. That's disgusting. And it's disgusting that no one stood up for Katie. No one. And now Tamra is like suddenly trying to be Katie's friend because she needs an alliance. And they see what the audience is saying, but it's not genuine to me. I really hope at the reunion that someone calls that out, because it was so messed up. It was just like disturbing to watch as a minority myself. I don't want to be in any environment like that. I feel like I can understand how Katie felt in that moment. She left freaking out, like nearly on the verge of tears, and I'm sure full of anxiety. That's not okay, and that's also not a good work environment. So I feel like that's a moment where producers do need to step in, and I don't expect for us to see that. I just hope it goes on behind the scenes where they step in and say, this is not okay, because you guys want to preach diversity, a commitment to a diverse culture and like safety and all this stuff. But then you let something like that happen. That's not okay. That should be addressed. Like, seriously, I didn't like it for one bit. And I am fully team Katie. Because no matter what she did, she lied. She did lie. I'm not I'm not defending her actions, because she in fact did lie. But it just, the reaction does not, the punishment does not fit the crime in this situation. It was just too much. And I really, really it's gross. I don't support it. I think Orange County has been so good in recent seasons, and it's an opportunity to learn here, and I really hope they do it. In other news for Orange County, I won't spend too much time on this because I did just see it this morning. Megan King Edmonds, she was on the show like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. She apparently, the police were called on her because Jim Edmonds, who's like a baseball player, which was her husband, he's pretty known. Sports isn't my forte, Bravo is. But he is married now to a new wife, and she was called police were called on Megan because she apparently burst into their home without consent. I'm sure there's more to the story, but just plugging that because I'll probably be talking more about it later. So yeah, let's switch over to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Bose from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is engaged. Bose is Oakley's literally just staring at me because I stole his toy. But Bose is now engaged to her long-term boyfriend, Keely, and Keely was on the last season. I'm very happy for Bose. Am I interested in this engagement and the wedding planning of it all? No. I don't care. I'm going to need a little bit more from Beverly Hills. I'm going to keep it real. I don't understand how, Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when you tell someone that you are a Housewives fan, you think of Beverly Hills because of the glamour, the riches, and the vibes. But realistically, Beverly Hills, in my opinion, is the worst. Okay, that is such a stretch. It's the most boring franchise. And you know what? I actually will stand on that. It's boring. It's not good like it once was when Lisa Rinna was on there. Lisa Vanderpump had left. And I just felt like it went downhill from there. Kyle is the face of the show, but she can't even carry the show. So it doesn't make sense. She doesn't share anything about her life. And I want to see my housewives be transparent. I don't understand why I'm watching Beverly Hills. At a certain point, I can't just tune into Beverly Hills because I want to see the riches. Because Salt Lake City also has the riches. Atlanta has money. I'm going to need them to bring a little bit more. Not even a little bit more. A lot bit more. And Bose getting engaged, that being the most recent headline we have from any of the Beverly Hills housewives since they started filming, and I think they're still filming, is pretty crazy because usually I feel like we're fed so much more and we just aren't getting anything. And Garcelle is not going to be on this season because she left and she was tired of the bullshit because she called things out and everyone wants to hide all behind the cameras and not share their real lives, and that's really frustrating. And I think Bose is a new housewife, which is also a reason I'm not interested, but I don't really like Bose. I'm not I'm gonna give her another season to declare I don't like her because I don't want to say I don't like her. I'm just not that interested. I was a Garcelle fan. I'm so annoyed Garcelle left. Garcelle was the first black Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, and they could not handle it. The ignorance and actually blatant racism that Garcelle experienced, where she would call out, they wanted to make it seem like, oh, she's just bringing this up because she's the only black one and she can play black card. No, we could see it. Dorit saying that she had black people working for her, and Garcelle clocking it saying the only black people in your life are the ones that work for you, or her mom had black friends, so many different things like that. It's just messed up. And honestly, I feel like Garcelle was targeted a few times and it just is wrong. And then Bose being the second black housewife to come on the show, in my opinion, I didn't like her interactions with Garcelle. And maybe I'm likely just very biased because I like Garcelle and I think that, she should have been treated better for sure. But I think that I just feel like with Garcelle because they were the only black people, the only black women on the show, they should have been together. And I hate to be the one like, oh, you're black, so you should be together. But I actually don't, because I do feel like when two black women come on a show like this, it's often like comparison, and it's like there's not room for two black women. There's only room for one, and then there's competition right there. When that's not the reality, I think they should just band together, and both should have been more receptive to how Garcelle was feeling about specifically Dorit in terms of how she was targeted by her on multiple occurrences. And I understand Bose wants to come in and make her own like friendships and kind of like see it from her point of view, but to me, and this is just me, this could be in my head, this could be a Virgo just overthinking, but to me, when Bose came on the show and they already had issues with Garcelle, and Garcelle called them out for being racist on multiple occasions, they see another black girl and they see the opportunity to be like, oh, I don't like Garcelle, but there's another black girl, I'm gonna be friends with her and get her on my side, and that way I'm not racist, look at me, because I like this girl. And because they're nice to Bose and they're kissing her ass, Bose is like, oh, they're good with me. But like, I feel like I can see right through that, and that's what I really just didn't like, because I love Garcelle and I miss her already. Beverly Hills needs to shake up. And I feel like for a lot of these shows, I can think of like what they need in order to make the show better. I don't really know what Beverly Hills needs. And that's the concerning part. I feel like they need a lot. So that's what I got for Bravo. Outside of Bravo, I have two minor things. I want to discuss Love Island for a very quick second, because Janae Craig was seen with Keith Glock and everyone thought that they were dating for a minute because her and Kenny broke up. I was rewatching Beyond the Villa because I needed something to watch, and I went to Janae's Instagram and she's in a Keith Glock music video. So now I'm like, are they not dating? I guess it was just a music video. And I was kind of here for it. So I'm still like very interested to see how Janae's dating life develops, because she's a baddie and I know she's gonna pull. And so I'm really excited to like stay updated with her dating life. And then outside of Love Island, Dancing with the Stars, Zac Efron has been named that he's on the 34th season of Dancing with the Stars. And you know, Dylan has gotten so much love since his season on The Traitors, rightfully so. He was so smart. He was so, like, lovable. And he just won over the audience because, in my opinion, of the winners, he's the reason that they won. And he's related to Zac Efron, so he's hot. He's an Efron brother. And so I usually don't watch Dancing with the Stars. I watched it when Ariana was on Dancing with the Stars because Ariana Madix is iconic. So I did watch that. I'll probably watch Dylan and like clock in. So I mean, if I start enjoying Dancing with the Stars, I might do some Dancing with the Stars recaps, because I think that there might be some tea in that. But I'm looking forward to seeing Dylan dance, and hopefully he does it shirtless a few times. But that brings me to the end of my first episode of Hot Tabs. I will be doing these weekly. I finally have a setup, so I'm so happy about that. I am gonna be consistent. I know it's just so hard because I just didn't have a studio set up, but I'm back, bitches, and I'm not going anywhere. So if you see any news that you want me to talk about, I am on Instagram at Tab Overload. I am on TikTok at Tab Overload, and those are the only social medias I have. TikTok, Instagram. I'm on Threads. But additionally, I am creating a Substack today to share out all of my recommendations of reality TV you should be watching. But not only reality TV, I'm going to talk about scripted TV too, because I don't, what's the word? I don't discriminate. I love all television. So tune into my Substack and find me on socials. I will talk to you next week, and we will get into all of the drama. Read the description to find me wherever you're at. Bye.